Hi guys, today I'm back to film an Ulta brand review. This was requested and I was just thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, there really isn't just like a great Ulta brand review. There's a couple reasons why I think nobody has really, there have been some people have made a video like this, but there's not really a lot, I feel like. And the reason why I think is because I feel like the Ulta brand in particular just really changes their products a lot. Like I know one of the products I was planning on reviewing for you guys, they no longer make it. So that even there, I can't, I don't want to review a product that they don't make anymore and you're not going to be able to buy anymore. So continuing on with the review, I'm going to talk about some products that I own right now currently and some products that I don't own but have owned in the past or have past experiences with. I'm just going to kind of go through the Ulta app and talk about products as I see them and kind of what I have in front of me. So first things first, we're going to talk about some brow products from Ulta. This I actually got for free. I got some training on this product and then I received it for free and I got to pick out which color I wanted, so that was nice. This is the Ulta Ultra Slim Brow Pencil in Taupe. I was afraid I was going to mess that up because Ulta and Ultra, a lot of people get those mixed around a lot. But this is in the color Taupe. I love this. I actually like this more than I think really any other brow pencil. The only one that kind of competes for me is the L'Oreal, the Brow Stylist one that's very thin like this. But I think I kind of like the color of this one a little bit better. I think it is a little bit lighter. So you can see there, or maybe you can't, it is just a very, very fine tip product. Like the Anastasia Brow Wiz and, a lot of these fine tip pencils that are coming out. I'm not crazy about the spoolie though. I will give it that. So if you are big on the spoolie on the end, you're not going to like this, or at least I don't think you would. It's just the bristles are very, very short and it ends up removing a lot of the brow product. Because it's short, it's basically just wiping it off. I feel like they should have made this a little thicker so the bristles could actually brush through the brows without removing the product. So this is okay to use on your brows without any product, but I do sometimes like to go back through once I have product on my brows, and this just ends up removing it. So I don't love the spoolie on here, but the pencil itself, let's say out of 10 out of 10. It's perfect to me. I love it. It's a reasonable price too. I think it's only like $8, so really not bad at all. They do have another brow pencil. It is called the Ultimate Brows Shade and Shape Pencil. Shade and Shaper Pencil. And it's basically a pencil and then it's got like a clear wax on the other end. I personally have never used that pencil besides swatching it, and I was like, this seems like a nice pencil. I bought it for my mom actually for Christmas or something like that. She loves it. She's repurchased it several times, so thumbs up from her for that one. But I personally haven't tried it besides just the swatching. It is kind of, I think, a little bit more of a waxier pencil, so if you like a more waxy pencil, that would be one that you would probably want to try. And last and final brow product I have tried from the Ulta brand. I have two of these. This is the Ulta Brow Tint, and mine is in the color light. Both of them are light. It's, a lot of people have said it's a dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow. I think it's, slightly debatable in that the Gimme Brow does have fibers to make your eyebrows look thicker. This is just basically a tinted brow gel. It has that same wonderful little wand that's so easy to comb through and shape your brows with, and I love this for days when I don't really want to wear a lot of makeup, when I'm going that no makeup, but I actually pretty much don't have that much makeup on. So I love just combing this through my brows and just filling them in really quickly. This I do have on today, but I actually have my dip brow on with it. I forgot to use this even though I wanted to use it so you guys could see what it looked like on, but I do have this on. And with my dip brow, it just kind of darkens things up a little bit. I pretty much stay away from the inner corner of my brows, so my viewfinder is making it look good, but I don't know how it'll look when I upload. So the front part of my brow is just a slight bit lighter, and then it does get a little bit darker, and that is because of this. This is a little dark, I think, even for being the light color. I want to say there's only 3 or 4 colors, so that is kind of a downside. Especially because the Benefit Gimme Brow only used to have 2, but I believe they've expanded even their shade range quite a bit. So to only have 3 colors, it doesn't really fit for everybody, but hopefully you'll be able to find something with that you do like. So love that one. Again, like 10 out of 10. My only complaint would maybe be the fibers, but the fibers to me I guess aren't a huge deal, so still 10 out of 10. Continue right on to eye products. So eye products, I have tried I think an okay amount of their products. There have been a few things here and there that I just like, no, that just doesn't appeal to me, or, you know, I have products that are already really similar. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Ulta eyeshadow primer. I believe there is a matte, like nude version of this, but this one is the champagne one. So this is kind of like Urban Decay's Sin eyeliner a little bit, and then it has a sheen to it. So there is a swatch of the champagne one there, but I really like this. It is very, very creamy. I think if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I've tried the Urban one or used it, and I feel like this one is creamier and a little bit more blendable than the Urban Decay one was. It is, in my opinion, just as long lasting and just as good. So same thing with this one. I'm going to say 10 out of 10. I have no problems with this creasing or anything. You definitely can see the champagne like shimmer color coming through your eyeshadows, unless you're using something super, super pigmented like metallic. You know, you're not going to be able to see anything through it. But if you use something a little more on the sheer side with shadows, you will kind of see this peeking through. So I really like this, and I think it's a pretty decent size. At least it seems really big compared to most eyeshadow primers. So again, 10 out of 10 for this one. I do really like this one. Next are Ulta eyeshadows. So you can see here I own quite a few of these, and these are not even all the ones I've owned. I've owned other ones in the past and just kind of swapped them out and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this one, but I'm gonna go buy this one. Yeah. So I have quite a few here. This one is a color they don't make anymore. It's called After Hours. This one here is kind of like, I think it's Blackheart from the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. So it's like a black with like red glitter in it. There's a nice little swatch there. You can see pretty pigmented. I think when you swatch on the skin, it feels a little dry. And the pigmentation is pretty good. It's not fantastic, but I think it's pretty good. I feel like the shadows do vary. Just different colors, different pigmentation issues, different finishes, that kind of thing. But for the most part, I feel like they're pretty good. I have tested them without eyeshadow primer. I've tested them with eyeshadow primer. You're gonna need an eyeshadow primer. I feel like they do not hold up as well without an eyeshadow primer. I don't remember what color it was, but there used to be like a blue one I had that I wore without eyeshadow primer, and by the end of the day it was pretty much gone. So you do need an eyeshadow primer with these. They are shadow that you're going to have to work with a little bit more than like say Anastasia or Lorac. You just dip your brush in, you have enough shadow to do like both of your eyes, like they're just so pigmented and creamy. These do require a little bit more work, but not much. I think they're still really nice shadows for the price. This one here is the color Grace. It's kind of a purpley gray color. And you can see there, that one there too. It's pretty pigmented. It's pretty light color to begin with, but like it's not bad. This one here, hopefully I can say it right, it's Wisteria Lane. This one here is a little bit more purple than the last one. This one here, pigmentation really doesn't look good at all, but actually on the eyes it does turn out better. So the swatch there does not look good at all, but I promise on the eyes that one does look a little bit better. Like I said, formulas tend to vary with these a little bit, so it sucks because they are inconsistent. So kind of on that note, out of 10, I would probably give them like a 6 or a 7 just because of the inconsistencies. For example, this next one I'm going to swatch, this is Hopeless Romantic. This one feels chunky. It does have like chunky glitter in it, but it is just such a pretty color. I can't ever get over this one. But yeah, it does have like chunky glitter in it, which is kind of an issue. Did I say that this one's Hopeless Romantic? Hopefully I did. But I don't know. It's just like they're so inconsistent. It's like, it's kind of hard to determine what colors you want to get. This one here is Elegance. This one is just like a nice taupey color. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that one there like on my wrist, but it's there. It's just, this one is really light, which is kind of why I liked it, because it looks like it's going to be darker, but then when you actually put it on, it is a little bit lighter. So I kind of like that about this one, but if you wanted something darker, this just isn't going to be that color. Here, I don't know how to say it. I'll show you the name, but I don't really feel like trying to pronounce that and messing up horribly. This one here is kind of a sheer lavender color, but I don't know, again, if you're going to be able to see these. I know when I wear them on my lids I can see them, but they're not showing up swatch-wise. And this one I've owned for a really long time. This one is Twilight. I've owned this, sadly, I think it's been a year. There it is there. And there's Twilight there. This one definitely comes out way darker than I always think that it's going to, which is kind of why I had bought Elegance, because Twilight is really dark and Elegance is a little lighter and more what I was kind of expecting Twilight to be. But like I said, it's just an inconsistent formula-wise. Otherwise, I like all these shadows. I think they're great. Maybe not great, they're good. But I don't know. They're just really inconsistent formula-wise. So that's kind of why I was like, oh, maybe only 6 or 7 stars, because they do require a little bit more work. And some shadows just, they suck in this line. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I know like Key West was one of the ones I just was like, no, this just does not last on me. I can't quit staring at all the colors. They look so nice together. They're so pretty. Anyways, moving on to some other eyeshadow products from this line. This is the Ulta Color Coat Cream Eyeshadow. This is basically their version of the Maybelline Color Tattoos. Just as good. They are, I think, really nice. They're pretty creamy. This one here in particular is called Metallic. It kind of looks like Bad to the Bronze, but it's, I think it's cooler toned if I remember, because I remember swatching them and comparing, but they are pretty close. So there is Metallic there. I'm just trying to like kind of spread the product out because I kind of got a little too much on my hand, but it is a beautiful color. It does last pretty long. I think that they're maybe not quite as long lasting as the Maybelline Color Tattoos. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I tested this product out, but it is still pretty good. So I like this. I do kind of want to pick up some other colors, because if you see a color from them that you didn't see in the Maybelline Color Tattoos, I would say go ahead and pick it up, because it's probably going to be almost just as good. I think, like I said, the Maybelline ones just, I think, last a smidge bit longer. But for the most part, they are almost exactly the same. So for that one, I would say probably like 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. This next product is one that I actually like to pair with Metallic. This is the Ulta Color Pure Eyeshadow Pigment, and this is in the color Henna. So this is a little off topic, but a lot of people have talked about the Makeup Geek pigments and how the packaging sucks and they are so messy. I really don't understand why they don't switch to a packaging like this, because this is a pigment, and as you can see, it's really not that messy. There's like a little stopper in here. There is some product up here and obviously some in here, but it's like not all over the place and spilling everywhere every time I open it. So I personally really like this packaging. I think she could easily do something really similar with hers. I'm trying to get enough product to like give you guys a good swatch, but since it's a pigment, it, you know, as you can tell, is pretty intense. So there is a swatch of it there. I don't know if I said what the color of this one is, but it's Henna. They have a ton of other colors in these, and I think they're fantastic. They're really, really pretty. I've always kind of worn it over Metallic though, so it's kind of a creamier base. So they stick really well to that, but I think over an eyeshadow primer they would stick really nicely as well. They're not metallic, which I think a lot of people expect from pigments. They expect them to be like super metallic looking, but it is pretty shimmery, and I feel like a lot more pigmented than the single eyeshadows. So I do like these a lot. I would say probably 10 out of 10 for these, because I can't find anything I don't like about them. So that one there is Henna. And to some eyeliners from them. I have tried a couple different eyeliners from the Ulta line. This one here is the Ulta Gel Liner in Denim. Mixed feelings on this one. I'm gonna say probably 5 out of 10 for this one, just because I think it's okay. If I set it with a shadow, it does last pretty well throughout the day, but if I don't, I think it's just like too creamy and it seems like it just like melts off. So there's a swatch of Denim there. I'll just kind of give you a quick light swatch there. So you can see it does have some pigment and it's pretty good. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's this color. It's not the most pigmented eyeliner I've ever used, and it could be that it is just this color. But like I said, wear-wise, they're just kind of middle of the road. They're just kind of okay. They just don't last all day unless you set them, which I think is annoying to have to set an eyeliner. I do that with most of my eyeliners, but I don't want to do that all the time. For example, this Denim color, I did kind of like it because it was a sheer lighter blue color. If I wanted a deep rich navy, I would just use my Urban Decay Sabbath liner, but you know, if I have to set this, then it just turns into a deep pigmented navy color. So mixed feelings on this one. But if you guys have seen my Project Pan videos or my empties, my last empties video I believe, I talked about the Ulta Automatic like twist up liners. 2 huge thumbs up. I'm gonna say probably 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. The only reason I say that is because I'm not a huge fan of the twist ups, so that's just a personal preference issue. But otherwise, very long lasting, really smooth and creamy. I can't find anything wrong with them. They are just as long lasting as my Urban Decay ones or my Mally ones. I think they're fantastic. They do wear pretty well in the waterline. Compared to these wear horribly. The gel ones, I don't think they wear very well in the waterline at all. But the automatic ones, I don't know, they're not quite as creamy as this. So maybe that's why, is because they're just a smidge drier, so they last a little bit longer. But I think those are a lot better. So if you're deciding between the gel and the automatics, I would go with the automatics. I have not tried the Ulta liquid liner. I believe they have 2 different formulas. There's like a little brush tip one and then like a pen tip one. I haven't tried that. A lot of times that I got most of these products, I feel like that we were sold out of the pen tip ones or something like that. So I haven't tried that one. I have tried the gel liner in the little pots. I got the purple color and it was just not pigmented at all. It didn't show up on my lids at all. It was horrible. I was like really shocked that it was like such a pretty pigmented purple color in the like jar. And then when I actually went to put it on, it just didn't show up. So I returned that one. Those I'd probably stay away from unless the black or brown would be any different. But honestly, the purple color was such a disappointment. I have stayed very far away from those. Another eyeshadow formula they have that I haven't tried is the Brilliant Color eyeshadows. Kind of from my understanding though, they are like the L'Oreal Infallible, I don't know, I always want to call them eyeshadows, but they're kind of like pressed pigments a little bit. They look like this, and even the packaging for the Ulta one looks like this. It does Ulta Brilliant Color along the bottom, but from my understanding they're basically the same as these, so I haven't really reached out and tried those, but I do kind of want to go see what colors they have, and maybe there'll be something a little bit more unique that I would want to try. Another eye product I have not tried from Ulta is the mascaras, and I'm just going to briefly kind of touch on this. For whatever reason, I just can't make myself try them. I think it's because I've had several people return them saying that they were allergic to them. I don't know, and just none of them really appeal to me. So I have never tried an Ulta brand mascara. I'm sorry. They do have, I believe, like thousands of reviews. Thousands, hundreds, depending on which mascara you look at. So maybe that would be a little bit more helpful, but I just have not wanted to try them personally. They're just, for some reason, a little scary for me to try. I don't know. I think it's just, you know, hearing people be like, oh, I always had an allergic reaction to it. Like, I can't. It just scared me too much. So I have not tried their mascaras either. Moving on to some face products. I have tried a couple things from them. I've kind of played around with a couple things from them, but I haven't purchased them. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Ulta Matte Prime. This is just a little baby size, which is why it was on clearance, because we were getting rid of the baby size. This is just like your typical clear silicone primer. So it's kind of, in my opinion, more of a pore filling primer. Not, in my opinion, so much mattifying. I did see some beauty YouTuber talking about it and saying it was really mattifying. I just kind of disagree. I don't feel like it really mattifies my skin that much. I mean, of course it does when I first like put it on, because it is that clear silicone. I like swatched it way down here. I don't even know if you guys are gonna be able to tell it's there. Probably not. I mean, it mattifies my skin at first because it is like that clear silicone gel, but I feel like as the day goes on, it just gets oily and just breaks up, and it's just not pretty. I like it for pore filling. I like it enough that I'll finish it, but I don't think I'll repurchase it. And especially because I believe the Ulta primers are pretty pricey. I want to say they are $18, which I think is just, in my opinion, ridiculous. If you are looking for a good mattifying primer, I would strongly suggest the NYX Angel Veil one. That is my hands down favorite mattifying primer. A lot of people have talked about the Hourglass, their veil primer, and supposedly the NYX is like a dupe. I haven't tried the Hourglass one, but I just find that those ones, I think, control oil for me better than this. This one's great for pore filling, but that's about it in my opinion. I don't think it's that mattifying. So I've not tried the other primers that come in this black packaging, the Hydro Prime or the Flawless Prime. The Flawless Prime is a color correcting one, so it is a green primer. The Hydro Prime, it's been a long time since I've played with that one. It's either, I think it's just a white lotion consistency that's okay for moisturizing. I remember thinking that the Fabulous Face Primer that comes in a white packaging, it's kind of like this, but hydrating. It's a hydrating silicone primer. So if you have pores that you want to fill, but you don't want to mattify and dry out your face, I would maybe actually try the Flawless Face one, because it is, like, as soon as you put it on your skin, like, you can feel that cooling, like, kind of little burst of hydration. It's really, like, it kind of blew my mind, because most silicone primers don't feel hydrating. They feel mattifying, and they feel silky smooth, but they just don't feel hydrating or anything. They just feel like they're going to fill your pores, and that's it. So the Fabulous Face one, I haven't tried it myself because I do have oily skin, so I just feel like it's not really something I need. But if you do have dry skin and kind of want some pore filling, maybe give that one a shot. So kind of moving on to concealer. I feel like the Ulta brand concealers, just yuck. I don't really like them, like, at all. There's a stick one. I want to say there's one that's like a doe foot applicator that just, the colors is horrible. That's really what bothers me, is the color selection is horrible. They are not very light, they are not very dark, and that's kind of something I feel like you can say for the whole Ulta line. It's just like middle range. It's just like light medium to like medium tan, and then that's kind of it. There is no fair, there is no deep. It's just those like in between shades. But last time I was looking at our Ulta wall, I did see that we had a new concealer, and I was like, okay, it looks almost light enough. I'm going to give it a shot, because I have not really been able to find a drugstore concealer that I'm in love with yet. I think I'm getting there. I think I've found a few that I really like. This kind of being one of them, except for that it is actually just like too dark. Not by much, just a little bit. It's just kind of like it matches my foundation. It doesn't brighten my under eyes, which is kind of what I want it to do. But this is the full coverage concealer, and it's actually waterproof, and mine is in the color Light Cool, because the Light Warm, I could tell right off the bat, was not gonna work. It was very yellow, and I'm like, that is gonna look yellow on my under eyes. Pull it out, and it is like a flat little wiggly doe foot applicator. You can see mine has like no product on it, and that is because I have literally almost finished this concealer. I've been testing it out this whole time, and I'm like, I don't know what I think of it. And I've kind of gotten to the point where I think I've formed an opinion. There's a swatch of it there. I disagree with the full coverage claim. I would say that this concealer is probably more on the medium side. It has okay coverage, pretty decent coverage. I think enough that most people would be able to use this on a day-to-day basis, like on the under eyes. I just think that if you want like super full coverage because you have like extreme like discoloration, or I know like Emily Noel has talked about she had melasma during her pregnancy, this isn't going to cover that. It's just not that full coverage enough to do that. But I mean, I just feel like every day to day, it's going to be good enough for the under eyes, just to like brighten it up. As long as you don't have like extreme discoloration stuff, like I said, where you would need more like a color corrector, this should work. It is a very lightweight, liquidy, slightly moussey formula, so I do like that. I wish the color selection was better. So for this one, I'm gonna say probably 6 or 7 out of 10 again, just because it's a little bit better than okay, but it's still not perfect. I do like it. If I got it again, like, you know, for free from work, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I got my favorite concealer again. It's just kind of okay for me. Another face product I have tried, this is the Ulta Mineral Powder Foundation. I've talked about this in favorites videos before. This is so good. So good. I feel like this is a dupe for the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Illumination. It has a beautiful like glow to it. I got mine in the color Fair 1 because Fair 1 I believe was the cool one. Otherwise I think Fair 3 is neutral and I think Fair 5 is warm. They do tell you on the little strips now, or the price strips, it'll say like Fair 1 and then it'll say like in parentheses C or like W or N for, you know, cool, neutral, warm. But here is a swatch of it here on my wrist. I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to see it, but I'm kind of doubting it since it's a foundation color, so it's like basically the same color. But just looking at it on my hand, I can see a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not shimmer, it's not glitter, it's just this beautiful sheen. It just literally makes you look radiant in the best way possible. And I love it because it's a powder foundation. So being oily, I can actually have a glow without looking like I am dipped in butter and just greased up and oily and gross. So I love this. I particularly love popping this on top of BB creams. BB creams don't offer, you know, a ton of coverage, and this can actually get up to pretty full coverage. Otherwise, I can just take a really big fluffy brush and just do a light layer, and I just have a light, natural, dewy look. But they have foundations, and then they also have a setting powder. I haven't tried the mineral setting powder, but I feel like it would be pretty similar to this. So for me, 10 out of 10 with this one. I love it. The only thing I guess I could knock off a point for is, again, shade range. Shade range sucks in the Ulta line. It's just something that they're gonna have to work on. But you can see here, it is a loose, like, mineral powder foundation. So even if you like bare minerals, maybe try this one out. I have heard a couple people say that they were kind of looking for something a little cheaper than bare minerals, and that this ended up working out better for them. Plus, you know, there's always deals on the Ulta makeup, buy two get two free, that kind of thing. So you could really easily stock up on these if they're going to be your, like, go-to foundation. Other face products they have, but I have not really tried, I've maybe kind of played around with them, is the Double Duty Wet and Dry Pressed Powder. That powder is the powder that claims to be medium to full coverage. Just because you use it dry, it's medium coverage, you use it wet and you get full coverage. I haven't really used that one because to me it seems like it's going to be a little bit cakey, or at least on my skin it would be. I just could see it mixing with the oils and just being kind of cakey. A lot of people do like it though. A lot of people use it as setting powder. But I think that it's just, in my opinion, it's got too much coverage to just be used as a setting powder. That's my opinion on it. The Ulta Color Correcting Foundation Stick, I really wanted to try that one, but I don't need the green color correcting in the middle. I do have like some redness, but I don't feel like enough that I would need to actually color correct it. That, and it just seemed a little too greasy for me. The Ulta Demi Matte Foundation, it's like the one in the dark blue packaging with a pump. I will say I like that one. It is a nice matte foundation. I disagree with the Demi. I think it's matte in my opinion. I like the pump. The shade range is a little bit better on that one. Still not fantastic, but I actually have a match in that one. I have actually been able to match clients with darker colors in that one before. So I think it's okay. It's, again, like I said, I think it's more matte. It's not really a Demi matte, and the coverage I would say is probably like medium. It's not full. I think you could maybe try to build it up to full, but it is kind of moussey feeling, so I feel like sometimes mousse foundations don't build super well, so that might be kind of an issue. But that one I would say I like it. I'm kind of looking at some other face products. They do have illuminators, bronzers, blushes. I used to have their old blushes, which looked a lot like the eyeshadows. They pretty much came in the same packaging, but they were just blushes. Those were okay. Some of them were really pigmented, some of them were a little too glittery. Again, kind of a little bit inconsistent formula. They have now switched to the Velvet Touch blushes, which I've just swatched, and they seem okay. I don't think they're anything to write home about. They don't seem amazing. The mineral blushes, those seem a little bit nicer. Those I do think I would like if I actually bought one. I've swatched them plenty of times and considered buying them plenty of times, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge blush person, so I've always just kind of skimmed over them. Bronzers, they used to have horrible selection for bronzers. They did come out recently with two bronzers. One is like a cool toned one and one is a more warm toned one. Those ones seem fabulous, but they used to not have very good bronzers. The baked bronzer is really nice if you want like a, I mean, I'm talking, since it's baked, it's like a super shimmery, super like metallic-y bronzer. So that one kind of be careful with, but if that's what you want, I would go with that. One big product that I get a ton of questions about from them is their contour palette. It's okay. I don't think it's bad. I just personally don't really try it because I'm, one, not into contouring very much, and two, I don't like contour palettes for the fact that I need one color to contour with and maybe like one or two to highlight with. And I just feel like in contour palettes you get so much wasted product. Like technically, yes, you could use those other colors as eyeshadows and stuff, but I'm never going to use them up. So therefore I don't really buy the contour kits that much. But it's a nice, it's an okay contour palette, I guess. Like, it's not the best one out there, but it's definitely not the worst. So if you want to give it a shot, I would say give it a shot. It's really, you know, the worst you could have to do is return it if you don't like it. The illuminators from them, they're pretty nice. I can't remember. I think there's like it's like a white golden colored one. That's beautiful. A lot of people really like that one. I think that one's called Yellow Diamond and the other one's called Pink Diamond. They're both really pretty. Again, they're just kind of okay. Like, they're not anything amazing and spectacular and out there. But I think they're pretty decent though. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the lip products I've tried from them. I've mentioned these before in the past. These are the Ulta Matte Lip Creams. These I thought they were going to be like the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams or really any other liquid lipstick. And they're not bad. I have went through phases where I really liked them, and I've owned, I'm trying to think how many colors I've had. I've had quite a few. I'm running out of places to swatch this. This one here is in the color, this is Artistic. Mine looks kind of dark because I mixed it with a red lipstick. I believe I mixed it with MAC Russian Red, and that's what I have on in my last Ulta haul video. But it just, I mean, it looks like a nice little pink color. I've also owned a couple other colors that were more rosy, and I would really recommend getting those if you want the color that I had on in my last video. Just because it's easier than mixing a red lipstick with this, and it was basically the same exact color. They're okay, but they take forever to dry down and set. And there have been times where I've worn it, you know, like a 12-hour day or whatever, and my lips just feel so dry by the end. But I feel like that's typical with most liquid lipsticks, so it's kind of a toss-up for me, I guess. I like them, but I don't love them, and I guess that's kind of how I would say as a, you know, general brand review, that's kind of how I feel about Ulta. Like, I like them, but I don't love them. So these are just kind of another okay product. If they have a color that is just calling your name, go ahead and get it. Like, it's not bad. I just, you know, would recommend some other things over these. Now these I really, really like. They're a bit misleading, but I really like them. These are the Matte Lip Crayons. They're not matte at all. I don't understand why they gave them that name. Yeah, I don't get it. So my absolute favorite is this one here in the color Engagement, which for whatever reason the packaging like makes you think that it's brown, but it's actually a really beautiful nude color. I guess even on my arm though it does kind of look brown. But there is Engagement there. It's just a pretty kind of browny nude color. Otherwise I do have two more. This one here is in Shine. This one's beautiful for the summertime. I love this one. There's Shine. And then the last one here is Solstice. This one, I'm not crazy about the color, and it does seem to be more sheer than the other two. So again, another inconsistent kind of formula, but there is Solstice there. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell that it's more sheer, but I mean, I can tell just looking at the three of them. This one's more sheer. So that does kind of suck. So Solstice is not my favorite, but Engagement, Shine, 2 thumbs up. If I was just going off of those two, I'd probably say, you know, 9. Well, I'd probably say like 8 out of 10 just due to the fact that it says it's a matte lip crayon and they're not matte. Because when I kind of picked them up, I thought they would be like the Tarte Lip Surgences that are matte and are in a crayon form. And like I said, they're definitely not matte. Like, you can see that sheen. But kind of factoring in Solstice and the fact that it's not very pigmented, I'm going to knock these down to a 5. Just because that might mean that more of the colors are going to not be as pigmented. They are going to be more sheer. I understand that some people like that, but it's just, it sucks when it's just, you know, an inconsistent formula. So there's those and that's really all the only other lip colors I actually own from them. I did used to own, I think it's the Brilliant Colored glosses, or it might have been a super shiny lip gloss. I don't like those. They're fine, they're just a typical boring lip gloss, but they have a weird scent and I feel like they go bad really fast. So I tend to kind of stay away from the lip glosses. Same thing with the Butter Balms. They're nice. They have the same like beautiful buttery feeling that the NYX butter glosses have, but they go bad really fast. And they don't have this nice sweet smell like the butter glosses do from NYX. So the Butter Balms for me, even though they had cute princess names like Rapunzel and Ariel and stuff, I was just like, I just can't. Like, I can't get on board with these because they just go bad too fast. They're $8, I think, which I was like, no, I'll just get the NYX butter glosses. Their lipsticks I haven't really tried just because there hasn't been a color that I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to try that one. they're not bad, like for me swatching and playing with them with customers and stuff. Like I don't think they're bad. They're not calling my name, I guess. So maybe I'll review those at a later date, but as of right now, I haven't really tried them too much. And lastly, kind of onto a couple brushes and utensils. I know they have these right now. I don't know if they're going to have them forever, but these are just the little Ulta blending sponge, like trio or duo. I purposely left them dirty so you guys could kind of like tell that I used them. This one you can tell I used for foundation and concealer, and this one here you can tell I used for blush. Foundation, didn't like it. And in its fair thing, I did use it with 2 different foundations. I did not like it at all with the Too Faced Born This Way. It just sheared it out so much. The Revlon Color Stay was a little bit better. It still sheared it out some, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't as bad as it was with the Too Faced Born This Way. Too Faced Born This Way, just didn't like it. I mean, it gave even coverage and everything. I just felt like it sheared it out way too much. I understand that beauty sponges are supposed to shear out your foundations a little bit, but it was just like way too much. It was just like, why bother even putting foundation on? So I guess it kind of depends on what foundation you use this with. I feel like I would probably like this with a thicker, moussier foundation where I really want to shear it out. This one though, the blush one. I use this with my ColourPop blush because one of you guys had suggested applying it with a beauty blender. Best thing ever. I love this seriously with the ColourPop blushes. This is like my go-to sponge whenever I use that blush. I don't know, I just really like it. It just fits like perfectly on my cheeks. And just, I don't know, I can't get over how much I love this one. It's perfect, nice little bouncy texture too. Like it's just got like the right amount of like I don't want to call it stiffness, but like it's not quite as, I don't know, it's just not quite as squishy and spongy as the like beauty blender and stuff. It's a little thicker and denser feeling. That's the word I wanted, dense. And so therefore I just like it more for blush. So I really like this for blush. Foundation, I believe they're $10 for 2 of them, so not too bad. I would say at least try them out, especially if you kind of want sheer foundation, maybe do that. And last product. This is the best thing of life right now for me. This is the Ulta powder brush. So it's technically a powder brush, but to me this is the best bronzer brush. The reason I like it is because you can kind of see it's kind of pinched. It's not super fluffy. So I kind of like that I can just like tap this in my bronzer and then I can, you know, go up here and I can kind of go along the cheeks and stuff. So I really like this for bronzer. It's definitely fine for powder too, but I just find for bronzer I love it so much. It just blends it out so nicely. It's so super soft, which I love, because especially bronzer I'm like blending. So I don't want a scratchy brush or one that starts out soft but then kind of feels scratchy after a while. Like this one just feels velvety soft through all of my crazy blending. So I love this. I have had no shedding or any issues with it. I don't know. I kind of want to buy all the Ulta brushes because this one is so good. That is it for this Ulta brand review. Maybe I'll do a part 2 with kind of some other products because like I said, I know I didn't have any of the foundations and stuff besides the mineral powder one. So maybe I'll eventually get a little more brave and try a little bit more things from them, but I hope this was at least just a good, decent starting point on some products that are really good and kind of some ones that are just okay and some ones to avoid. But thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!